Healthy relationships, love, respect, and communication speech. Healthy relationships don't begin with grand gestures or perfect moments. They begin quietly in the everyday choices we make, how we listen, how we speak, and how we treat one another when no one is watching. Love in a healthy relationship is not about control or sacrifice to the point of losing yourself. It is about care that allows both people to grow. It feels safe, not confusing. It feels supportive, not heavy. Love should never require fear, silence, or pain to survive. Respect is the foundation that keeps love standing. It means valuing another person's thoughts, boundaries, and individuality just as much as your own. Respect shows up in small moments, accepting no without pressure, disagreeing without insults, and recognizing that differences are not threats. They are part of being human. Communication is where healthy relationships are built or broken. Honest communication is not about winning arguments. It is about understanding. It means speaking clearly about your feelings and listening without planning your reply. It means being brave enough to say what you need and kind enough to hear what the other person needs too. A healthy relationship is not perfect. There will be misunderstandings, conflict, and uncomfortable conversations. But what makes it healthy is the willingness to face those moments with honesty, empathy, and mutual care. When love is guided by respect and strengthened by communication, relationships become places where people don't just connect, they thrive. Love should feel safe and supportive, not controlling or painful. Respect means honoring boundaries, differences, and individuality. Communication is about understanding, not winning. Listening is just as important as speaking honestly. Conflict is normal. Handling it with care makes relationships stronger. Healthy relationships help people grow, not lose themselves. Love should feel safe and supportive, not controlling or painful. Love is often described as intense, overwhelming, or even dramatic. But healthy love feels different. At its core, love should feel safe. Safety in a relationship is not just physical. It is emotional and psychological as well. It is the feeling that you can be yourself without fear of being judged, punished, or abandoned for who you are. When love is healthy, it creates a space where both people feel secure enough to speak honestly, express emotions, and grow as individuals. Supportive love encourages growth rather than limiting it. In a healthy relationship, partners want to see each other succeed, even when that success does not directly benefit them. Support shows up through encouragement, understanding, and patience. It means celebrating achievements without jealousy and offering comfort during failures without blame. Love should lift you up, not make you feel smaller or less confident. Control, on the other hand, is often mistaken for love. Control may appear as constant monitoring, excessive jealousy, or attempts to dictate how someone should dress, speak, or interact with others. These behaviors are not signs of care. They are signs of insecurity and power imbalance. When love becomes controlling, it creates fear rather than trust. Instead of feeling supported, one person begins to feel trapped, constantly adjusting their behavior to avoid conflict or punishment. Pain is another common misconception tied to love. Many people grow up believing that suffering is a natural part of loving deeply. While relationships can involve challenges and emotional discomfort, at times, love itself should not be painful. Ongoing emotional hurt, manipulation, or fear are not evidence of strong love. They are warning signs. Healthy love does not rely on guilt, silence, or emotional pressure to keep someone close. Feeling safe in a relationship means knowing that your boundaries will be respected. You should feel comfortable saying no without needing to explain or apologize excessively. You should feel confident that your thoughts and emotions matter, even when they differ from your partner's. Safety allows honesty to exist without fear of retaliation or rejection. Supportive love also includes accountability. When mistakes happen, healthy partners take responsibility and work toward understanding and repair rather than denial or blame. This accountability strengthens trust and reinforces the idea that both people matter equally in the relationship. Ultimately, love that is safe and supportive creates balance. It allows independence alongside connection, vulnerability alongside strength. It does not demand suffering to prove devotion. Instead, it offers reassurance, mutual care, and respect. When love feels safe, it becomes a source of stability and confidence, something that helps people grow into their best selves rather than convincing them they must endure pain to be worthy of affection. Respect means honoring boundaries, differences, and individuality. Respect is the quiet strength that holds a healthy relationship together. It is not always loud or dramatic, but it is always present. To respect someone is to recognize their worth as an individual, separate from your own needs, expectations, or desires. In a healthy relationship, respect creates balance. It ensures that both people feel valued, heard, and free to be themselves. Honoring boundaries is one of the clearest expressions of respect. Boundaries define what makes a person feel safe, comfortable, and respected. They may involve physical space, emotional limits, time, privacy, or personal values. When boundaries are respected, trust grows. When they are ignored or challenged, trust begins to break. Respect means accepting boundaries without argument, pressure, or guilt. It means understanding that a boundary is not a rejection of the person, but an act of self-care and honesty. Respect also involves accepting differences. No two people think, feel, or experience the world in exactly the same way. Healthy relationships do not require complete agreement or sameness. Instead, they allow space for different opinions, beliefs, and perspectives. Respect shows up when disagreements are handled with calm discussion rather than insults or dismissal. It means listening to understand, not listening to prove the other person wrong. Differences, when respected, can strengthen a relationship by encouraging learning and empathy. Individuality is another essential part of respect. In a healthy relationship, people do not lose themselves to maintain connection. Each person has their own interests, friendships, goals, and identity. Respect allows room for personal growth without fear of jealousy or control. It means supporting a partner's independence and recognizing that being connected does not mean being consumed by one another. Disrespect often appears in subtle ways before it becomes obvious. Interrupting, mocking, ignoring feelings, or making decisions without considering the other person's input can slowly erode a relationship. These actions send the message that one person's voice matters more than the other's. Over time, this imbalance can lead to resentment, insecurity, and emotional distance. Respect also includes accountability and fairness. When mistakes happen, respect means taking responsibility rather than shifting blame or minimizing harm. It means apologizing sincerely and making an effort to change harmful behavior. Mutual respect ensures that both people feel equally responsible for maintaining the health of the relationship. Ultimately, respect creates emotional safety. It allows people to express themselves without fear of being dismissed or devalued. When boundaries are honored, differences are accepted, and individuality is celebrated, relationships become partnerships rather than power struggles. Respect does not demand perfection. It demands awareness, empathy, and care. In a relationship grounded in respect, love has the space it needs to grow in a healthy and lasting way. Communication is about understanding, not winning. Communication is often mistaken for the ability to speak well or argue persuasively. But in healthy relationships, communication serves a different purpose. It is not about proving a point, gaining control, or winning disagreements. Instead, communication is about understanding feelings, needs, fears, and perspectives, even when they differ from your own. When communication becomes competitive, relationships suffer, conversations turn into debates, and partners focus more on defending themselves than on listening. In this environment, people may interrupt, raise their voices, or use hurtful words simply to feel heard or validated. While someone may win the argument, both people lose the opportunity for connection. Winning an argument does not build trust, understanding does. Healthy communication begins with honesty. This means expressing thoughts and emotions clearly rather than hiding them or expecting the other person to guess. Honest communication uses calm language and focuses on feelings rather than accusations, saying, "I feel hurt," when open space for dialogue, while saying, "You always," often shuts it down. The goal is not to assign blame, but to share experiences in a way that invites empathy. Listening is just as important as speaking. True listening requires patience and presence. It means giving someone your full attention without interrupting or preparing your response while they are still talking. When people feel genuinely heard, defensiveness decreases and openness increases. Listening to understand, not to respond, creates emotional safety and trust. Miscommunication is inevitable in any relationship. People interpret words through their own experiences, emotions, and expectations. Healthy communication acknowledges this and allows room for clarification. Asking questions, seeking reassurance, and checking understanding prevent small misunderstandings from becoming lasting conflicts. It takes humility to admit, "I may be wrong, help me understand," but this humility strengthens relationships. Communication also involves timing and tone. Even important truths can cause harm if delivered harshly or at the wrong moment. Respectful communication considers how and when something is said, not just what is said. This shows care for the other person's emotional state and reinforces mutual respect. Conflict does not mean communication has failed. It means two people care enough to express themselves. What matters is how conflict is handled. Healthy communication during conflict avoids insults, threats, or silence as punishment. Instead, it focuses on problem solving and mutual understanding. The goal is not to defeat the other person, but to move forward together. Ultimately, communication that prioritizes understanding builds stronger connections. It transforms disagreements into opportunities for growth and deepens emotional intimacy. When people communicate with empathy, patience, and honesty, relationships become safer and more resilient. Understanding does not mean always agreeing. It means valuing the relationship more than the need to be right. Listening is just as important as speaking honestly. In many relationships, people believe that communication is mainly about expressing thoughts and feelings clearly. While speaking honestly is essential, it is only half of true communication. Listening, real, attentive listening is equally important and often more powerful. Without listening, words lose their meaning and conversations become one-sided exchanges rather than meaningful connections. Listening in a healthy relationship is not passive. It requires effort, focus, and intention. It means giving someone your full attention without distractions, interruptions, or assumptions. When you listen attentively, you are telling the other person that their feelings and experiences matter. This sense of being valued strengthens trust and emotional safety. Many people listen with the intent to respond rather than to understand. They mentally prepare arguments, explanations, or defenses while the other person is still speaking. This habit can make the speaker feel unheard or dismissed, even if no harmful words are spoken. True listening pauses judgment and sets aside the need to be right. It focuses instead on understanding what the other person is truly trying to express. Listening also involves empathy. Empathetic listening goes beyond hearing words. It seeks to understand emotions. It means recognizing when someone is hurt, confused, or overwhelmed, even if they do not say it directly. Responding with empathy does not require agreement. It requires care. Simple responses such as, "I understand why that hurt you," or "that sounds really difficult," can make a significant difference in how supported someone feels. Honest speaking and active listening work best together. When people feel listened to, they are more willing to speak openly. This creates a cycle of trust where both partners feel safe sharing their thoughts without fear of dismissal or judgment. In contrast, when listening is absent, even honest words can lead to conflict, frustration, or emotional distance. Listening is especially important during moments of disagreement. Emotions may run high and misunderstandings can easily occur. Choosing to listen calmly during conflict helps prevent escalation and keeps the focus on resolution rather than blame. It shows respect and self-control, reinforcing the idea that the relationship matters more than the argument. Silence can also be part of listening. Allowing pauses gives the speaker time to reflect and express themselves fully. Silence does not always signal disinterest. When used thoughtfully, it shows patience and openness. It allows deeper conversations to unfold naturally. Ultimately, listening strengthens emotional connection. It allows people to feel seen and unrespected. When listening is treated as equally important as speaking honestly, communication becomes more balanced and meaningful. Healthy relationships thrive not just on words spoken, but on the willingness to truly hear one another. Conflict is normal. Handling it with care makes relationships stronger. Conflict is often viewed as a sign that something is wrong in a relationship, but in reality, conflict is a natural and unavoidable part of human connection. Whenever two individuals with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives come together, disagreements are bound to happen. What defines a healthy relationship is not the absence of conflict, but the way it is handled. Conflict becomes harmful when it is approached with anger, blame, or the need to dominate. Yelling insults, silent treatment, or bringing up past mistakes can turn a simple disagreement into lasting damage. These behaviors shift the focus from solving the problem to hurting the other person. When conflict is handled carelessly, it creates fear, resentment, and emotional distance. Handling conflict with care begins with self-awareness. Recognizing emotions before reacting allows space for calmer responses. Taking a moment to breathe, reflect, or pause a conversation can prevent words that may cause regret later. Careful conflict does not mean avoiding difficult conversations. It means approaching them with intention and respect. Respectful conflict focuses on the issue, not the person. Instead of attacking character or assigning blame, healthy conflict addresses specific behaviors or situations. Using calm language and statements helps keep conversations constructive. This approach reduces defensiveness and encourages cooperation rather than opposition. Another important part of healthy conflict is fairness. Both voices deserve to be heard even when opinions differ. Interrupting, dismissing feelings, or trying to win the argument creates imbalance. When both people feel acknowledged, solutions become more achievable. Conflict handled with fairness builds mutual trust and understanding. Repair is what truly strengthens relationships after conflict. Mistakes will happen, words may be misinterpreted, emotions may rise, but the willingness to apologize, reflect, and make changes restores connection. A sincere apology is not about avoiding consequences. It is about recognizing harm and taking responsibility. Repair shows commitment to the relationship and respect for the other person's feelings. Conflict can also reveal deeper needs and values. Disagreements often highlight unmet expectations or unspoken concerns. When handled with care, conflict becomes an opportunity for growth. It helps people learn more about each other and adjust in ways that strengthen the relationship. Ultimately, conflict handled with care builds resilience. It teaches patience, empathy, and communication skills that deepen emotional bonds. Healthy relationships do not break under disagreement, they grow through it. When conflict is approached with honesty, respect, and a shared desire to move forward, it becomes not a threat, but a pathway to stronger connection and understanding. Healthy relationships help people grow, not lose themselves. A healthy relationship should never require a person to shrink, silence their voice, or abandon who they are in order to be loved. Instead, it should be a space where growth is encouraged and individuality is protected. When relationships are healthy, they act as support systems that allow people to become more confident, self-aware, and emotionally strong. Growth in a relationship means both people are free to pursue their goals, interests, and dreams without fear of judgment or control. Each person brings their own identity into the relationship, values, passions, friendships, and ambitions. A healthy partner does not see these as threats, but as strengths. Supporting one another's personal growth creates balance and mutual respect. Losing oneself in a relationship often happens gradually. It may begin with small compromises that feel harmless, giving up hobbies, distancing from friends, or ignoring personal needs to avoid conflict. Over time, these sacrifices can lead to resentment, exhaustion, and a weakened sense of self. Healthy relationships recognize that constant self-denial is not love, it is imbalance. Independence and connection can coexist. Healthy relationships allow space for alone time and personal reflection. They understand that time apart does not weaken a bond, it strengthens it. When individuals feel fulfilled on their own, they bring more emotional stability and authenticity into the relationship. Growth also includes emotional development. Healthy relationships challenge people in positive ways. They encourage self-reflection, accountability, and emotional maturity. Partners help each other recognize unhealthy patterns and work toward better communication and understanding. This type of growth is built on trust, not fear. Support during change is another sign of a healthy relationship. People evolve over time, their goals shift, perspectives expand, and priorities change. A healthy relationship adapts alongside these changes. Rather than resisting growth, both people learn to adjust and support each other through new phases of life. Mutual growth requires equality. No one should feel superior or inferior within the relationship. Both voices matter. Decisions are shared, compromises are fair, and respect remains constant. Equality allows both people to thrive rather than compete for control or validation. Ultimately, healthy relationships add to a person's life instead of replacing it. They provide encouragement, stability, and emotional safety while allowing each person to remain whole. Love should never demand self-erasure. When a relationship helps people grow into more confident, fulfilled versions of themselves, it becomes not just a connection, but a partnership built on mutual respect and shared strength. Conclusion: healthy relationships are not defined by perfection, intensity, or constant agreement. They are defined by intention. They are built through daily choices to care, to listen, and to treat one another with dignity. Love that is healthy does not confuse or harm. It reassures. It provides a sense of safety that allows people to be open, honest, and fully themselves without fear of judgment or control. When love is rooted in care rather than power, it becomes a source of strength instead of stress. Respect gives love its structure. It reminds us that every individual deserves boundaries, individuality, and a voice. Respect allows differences to exist without turning them into threats. It creates balance, fairness, and emotional safety, ensuring that relationships remain partnerships rather than struggles for control. Without respect, love cannot last. With it, love gains stability and depth. Communication is the bridge that keeps relationships connected. When communication is guided by understanding rather than the desire to win, it transforms conflict into opportunity. Honest expression, active listening, and empathy allow people to navigate misunderstandings without causing lasting harm. Through thoughtful communication, relationships become spaces where feelings are acknowledged, needs are understood, and trust continues to grow. Conflict, when handled with care, strengthens rather than weakens relationships. It teaches patience, accountability, and emotional maturity. Disagreements do not signal failure. Avoidance and disrespect do. When people choose to approach conflict with calmness and compassion, they reinforce the idea that the relationship matters more than being right. Growth often begins where discomfort is met with understanding. Ultimately, healthy relationships help people grow, not disappear. They support independence while nurturing connection. They allow individuals to evolve, dream, and thrive without losing their identity. When love is guided by respect and sustained through meaningful communication, relationships become places of mutual growth, safety, and resilience. These are the relationships that last, not because they are easy, but because they are built with care, intention, and respect.